Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. Look, 2020 has proven to be the year of many things, and the same for 2022. But if you're a small business, this could also be the year you switch to a better payroll. Gusto wasn't just built for small businesses, it was built for the people behind them. Their online payroll is easy to use. Gusto can automatically calculate paychecks and file all your payroll taxes, which means you have more time to run your business. Plus, Gusto does way more than payroll. Gusto helps with time tracking, health insurance, 401ks, onboarding, commuter benefits, offer letters, access to HR experts. You get the idea. It's super easy to set up and get started. If you're moving from another provider, they can transfer all your data for you. It's no surprise that 94% of customers are likely to recommend Gusto. And here's the best part. Because you're a listener to this podcast, you get 3 months totally free. All you have to do is go to gusto.com/compliance. That's gusto.com/compliance. I'm telling you, you're going to love Gusto. Get started today. The Daily Compliance News for October 21, 2021, the Upgrade Edition. And we begin with 2 stories on this headline. First of all, from the Wall Street Journal, Treasury Department seeks more money for illicit finance oversight, including crypto and cybercrime. Deputy Treasury Secretary Wally Ademayo says hiring more staff with technical expertise is critical. This is part of the Biden administration's attempt to rein in and have better oversight for funding to oversee expansive sanctions programs, implement major new anti-money laundering, and protect the U.S. from terrorists, international criminal groups, state actors, and other foes that have become increasingly adept at using an evolving global financial system for their activities. In a somewhat related topic from Reuters, Ukraine's parliament on Tuesday passed legislation to strengthen the independence of its National Anti-Corruption Bureau, the NABU, a requirement for Ukraine to secure more loans from the International Monetary Fund under a $5 billion loan deal. The bill, which sets up a mechanism for how the NABU's leadership is appointed, must be signed by the president to come into force. The NABU was set up in 2015 to fight corruption among senior Ukraine officials and politicians, and its independence from political meddling is closely scrutinized by Ukraine's foreign backers and local anti-corruption activists. Next up, from the New York Times, Boeing's woes continue, according to the New York Times, as its probe into astronaut capsule woes continue. The Starliner capsule for NASA crews is now unlikely to have another orbital test flight until the middle of next year. Boeing's second chance to test its launch is delayed again, and the aerospace giant is going to new lengths to investigate problems with the spacecraft's fuel valves. The postponement adds to the woes of Boeing's Starliner spacecraft, in striking contrast with SpaceX, the private company founded by Elon Musk. The Starliner capsule came within hours of launching to test as part of a 10-day test program without humans on board, but eventually it did not go up. And our final story comes to us from the Washington Post, and it's about the District of Columbia's privacy suit against Facebook. They have added Mark Zuckerberg as a named defendant. The Attorney General for D.C. has added him to the lawsuit around the Cambridge Analytica scandal, one of the first times the tech founder has been personally targeted. In 2018, the Attorney General for D.C. sued the social media giant on accusations of unfair and deceptive trade practices. After reviewing thousands of his internal documents and interviewing former employees, the district attorney the Attorney General believed that Zuckerberg knowingly and actively participated in the data privacy issues raised by Cambridge Analytica. It's the first time we've had a head of a tech company been brought into one of these suits, so it's something we'll definitely have to keep an eye on. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.